What's going on, guys? My name is Noah. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a special video for me. I'm so honored that I have the chance to make this video, and the reason I'm so excited as well is because this is a video that is being provided to you guys, or at least the topic of this video is being directly provided to you guys by an incredible Patreon supporter named Mike Baffa. Mike is one of those guys who has connected with me on this platform. We've been back and forth since he reached out on Patreon, and he has a similar story to mine. He also has a YouTube channel, which I will link below, and I won't do that out of just being polite to Mike. He's got a lot to say. He should just post more often, but that's its own thing. No judgments. I get it. But Mike provided a question because he's one of my biggest Patreon supporters, and to honor that support as part of his reward tier, he provides the question that I will answer in a video for all of you to see. So thank you, Mike, so much for this question. It is a crazy question that's had me just spinning a little bit thinking about it. And we'll go ahead and get to that question now. He asks me, how has your traumatic experience affected your overall perception on life? So, a little bit of context for those of you who may not know. When he's referring to my traumatic experience, he's referring to a massive mental breakdown that I speak on often. And that breakdown came with depression, anxiety, suicidality, tremendous brain fog, something known as depersonalization. And it changed me forever, naturally. So my perception of life before ever having experienced genuine, clinical, dangerous mental health problems was so carefree. It was so carefree, it was so short-sighted, and it was inherently selfish. Now, I'm not saying I don't still struggle with selfish behavior, selfish nature and thoughts, but before becoming depressed, there were just certain things I didn't understand. There were certain things that I couldn't possibly understand. There were people I could never empathize with. And I think I had more preconceived judgments about life, do's, don'ts, whys, when it came to other people, myself. I had this like supreme confidence that was pretty misplaced. And I'm not here to say that the me before depression, anxiety, and all that was like a bad person. It was just a person who was just more ignorant in a very basic sense of the word. So after you have a mental breakdown, after you experience legitimate and dangerous trauma, a few things come over you. And of course, I'm speaking of myself. One, having survived it when I didn't think I was going to, quite frankly, it leaves you permanently damaged and scarred in certain ways. And I think those ways are pretty natural. I also think that I'm getting much better at managing these scars and this damage, but you know what's out there. You're officially made aware of what's possible in terms of pain, mental pain, which is unthinkable prior to having a massive breakdown like the one I had. And so you know about this darkness in the world. You now realize that you may not be forever safe. And prior to having my breakdown, I felt incredibly safe all the time. I just didn't know something like this could happen. I remember thinking, I wish I could live forever, because I thought life just felt so good. And then I had my breakdown, and now I can't imagine living forever because I'm so scared of the pain I was in. Now, I don't let that pain dictate my life, and I've learned a lot about managing those thoughts and feelings, but it's a real thing. You're respectful of the fact that it can come back. And to that effect, because you've been through something so dangerous and scary, I've geared my life mostly around not ever going back. And I think that comes from a more humble space where I understand I am susceptible again. And so my perception of life is now that I need to be more respectful, and I need to honor the potential of another mental breakdown, honor the danger that can be right in here if it's out of whack. So I didn't care about certain things before, and I just do now. I care about sleep, for example. I care about how I'm eating, what I'm putting into my body. I care about maintaining healthy, positive relationships. I care about self-care. So gratitude journals and talk therapy and humility and just, being respectful of feeling okay, because I wasn't before. It was something I thought was promised to me, and it's not. It also, perhaps this is self-explanatory, but having a breakdown like that, dealing with dangerous depression, anxiety, DP, it gives you a sense of empathy for other people that I never once felt before. Not like this. I've always known to be kind to other people, but I never considered what people might be going through truly. I think it was just easier to chalk it up to a personal weakness or something like that, as opposed to a condition. And I can tell you from experience that when I was at my worst, I was just a scared, hurting child, and I needed so much empathy, I needed so much patience, I needed so much love, I needed so much understanding, and a lot of people couldn't give it to me. There were a host of people that were strong enough, emotionally capable. Perhaps they'd had their own experiences. They knew what I needed and how to protect me. But a lot of people can't handle people that are depressed. A lot of people can't handle people that are anxious. A lot of people think it's a sign of weakness or it's a reflection on them as a person. And I think my perception on life has changed in that I understand how scary, how overwhelming, and how incredibly despairing it is to be anxious and depressed. And I'll never unknow those things, and so I'll always be more patient than your average person. I'll always be a defender of those who have mental health problems. I'll always be more firm and more steadfast with anyone I think is struggling, in terms of offering them hope and being willing to offer them hope long term. I mean, people that are depressed need more than a pick yourself up by the bootstraps speech. They need more than it could be worse speech. They need more than a you're going to be okay, trust me, you're fine speech. I didn't know what those people were going through before. I didn't know that every minute can feel like a day, and every day can feel like a month, and every month can feel like a year. And I didn't know how painful it is to want to kill yourself. So from the mild cases to the severe cases, going through this has created a champion in me for mental health. And I'm not perfect, and I'm not saying I am someone to model after, but I'm certainly someone who has come out the other side understanding certain things that I can't unknow. And I have an obligation to myself, to those that might need me, to my friends and family, to carry that painful burden and that intellectual property that I accrued over years of mental health problems into my life going forward, and come out stronger. Nothing will ever be the same. And maybe I should end it on that. My perception is that I am no longer who I once was, and I don't want to return to being that person. I have the benefit of coming out of it long enough to look back and find some gratitude in that's happened. And that took forever to get to that point, because I felt so sorry for myself, and I was so scared for so long. That I just wished it wasn't me. But now I realize I either have an opportunity to use this as something that's made me stronger and capable of making a difference, or letting it define the rest of my life and maybe take me out early. And I'm choosing to fight today, and I'll choose to fight every other day. And I'm so grateful for my mental stability now. I'm grateful for basic things I was never grateful for before. And I'm mindful of that every single day, because this isn't promised. I feel like I'm on borrowed time already. So, Mike, I hope that answers your question. I hope I got into the aspects of that topic that you really wanted me to. But yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip, because not only do you have these things that you bring with you, but you have to allow yourself to put your guard down enough to enjoy life again. And you have to relearn how to enjoy life again, and not just be permanently in suspicion that you're about to drift off. So that takes time and practice. And if you're someone who's in the midst of some sort of torment, if you're in the midst of some long-standing anhedonia, depression, anxiety, DP, bipolar, schizophrenia, OCD, whatever, I just hope you stay brave. I hope you know that it took a lot of support, love, time, and luck for me to get better, and I do believe in everyone's potential to heal. And I do want you to know, and I think this actually is the right note to end it on, I want you to know that that I have come out the other side a better version of me, a stronger version of me, and I have found a new normal. I found a new normal, a new way to be happy, a new sense of the world, and it's not always easy, and it's definitely not the same as it was before, but it is an acceptable new normal, if that makes sense. I can't give back some of the things that came off me from that experience, but I have gained other new things, new pieces of armor, new pieces of understanding, and certainly newfound joys that I didn't have before. It doesn't take so much anymore for me to find a little shred of upbeat energy or happiness, because I don't need as much to get there. I just don't. Once you've been at the bottom, anywhere above suddenly doesn't seem so bad, and that's good. And that's good. So Mike, that's all I got. YouTubers, that's all I got. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel. And I want everyone to know, because I always get self-conscious, when I thank my patrons, it's not because I think anyone that is able to support me in that way is better than someone who's just here watching. They aren't. They're willingly, and I'm so grateful for my patrons, but I'm so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. You all bless my life. You make me have, you give me purpose. You mean so much to my day-to-day, and I thank you. So leave your comments below and let me know how you would answer this question that Mr. Mike left me, and how your perception of life has changed. So how your perception of life has changed after having a traumatic experience. Do you agree with some of what I'm saying? Did you go through a stage of anger like I did? Like, I was extremely angry, and I felt it was unfair, and that anger really took a long time to let go of. But what heals most things is just getting trusting with your stable time, and you can't rush that, unfortunately. So this is a long video, but I'm cool with it, and I appreciate all of you. We'll see you guys in the next video. Adios, amigos.